Nampak?
Mana tu? Oh. Okay. Okay, so kita akan guna spin wheel lah kan? Tapi dia macam ada 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Macam ada 6 task. So macam nak bahagikan dia ni dulu?
Rasa yang macam ada nombor yang kena gabung. Mungkin yang last tu yang challenge.
Gabung dengan yang second ni. Yang list raw material tu. Sebab dia macam mudah sikit.
Tapi challenge tu macam banyak juga. Dia ada challenge lepas tu dengan risk mitigation tu.
I rasa yang list raw material dengan apa? Critical
Hazard
material
tu.
attribute. Sebab CMA dengan
Critical.
CQA pun tak banyak. Boleh gabung raw material dengan CQA, CMA tu kot.
Rasa yang tu okey macam tu.
Okay. Okay je. Lepas tu spin lah. Korang boleh nampak ke kalau Aina buka tab baru ni?
Dia dah pick orang kan. Lepas tu orang tu buat task untuk first task, second task macam tu lah kan.
Oh, haa. Tadi first pulahan.
Ainul.
Oh yang yang first I know
Yang first yang
Okay.
awal tadi tu dia try.
Oh okay. So first I buat soalan first lah. Okay, start. Tadi nak buat yang raw material.
Kalau Aisyah tengok maksudnya yang first I know raw material dengan quality material attribute tu lah kan.
CMA tu.
Lepas tu second Aisyah hazard identification.
Betul.
Lepas tu Sumati hazard manufacturing tu. Lepas tu pula waste management, Afra challenge. Betul lah kan? Cukup lah kan?
Cakap tu. Okay. So Q dia 29. Tu je kan?
Kita kena buat yang gastrik tu.
Nanti kita nak guna Google Doc lah kan? Buat macam report je kan apa sebenarnya ni?
Buat macam report je Google Doc. Lepas tu presentation korang nak buat macam mana? Record macam ni ke ataupun nak record dalam Canva je?
Ana rasa macam mudah record dalam Canva sebab asing-asing sebab waktu kita tak sama kan. Susahlah nak kumpulkan semua orang macam ni.
Rasa macam tu lah better. Jadi kita buat dalam Canva terus record.
Betul.
Nanti gabung je video ni dengan Canva.
Ataupun nanti kita addkan kita punya video tu kat dalam Canva punya slide macam tu je kan? Ke korang nak macam mana?
Maksudnya?
Macam kita record video, lepas tu kita masukkan video tu kat dalam Canva.
Macam tu. Lepas tu nanti video ni kena gabung lah dengan Canva tu.
Okay.
Lepas tu kan yang ni kena hantar hard copy. Siapa yang nak hantar hari Jumaat ni?
Sekejap, Afra
Saya-
ada dekat sana ke?
Ada. Saya
Afra
boleh je
bantu
hantar. Boleh.
Okay. So, Pula dengan Sumati setuju lah tadi?
Setuju.
Okay. Jelas kan? Kan ada apa-apa lagi nak tambah?
Rasa tak
Nanti
ada apa.
kita buat slide dalam Canva and then record dalam Canva tu lah. Okay.
Lagi ada apa-apa lagi ke?
Video tu macam mana nak hantar?
Dalam arahan ni dia suruh link YouTube. Dekat arahan atas.
Oh. Lepas tu kena paste link tu dekat
Masukkan dalam
report kita.
report.
Faham. So this is the list material of omeprazole suspension for gastric. So first, it is omeprazole itself, it is an active pharmaceutical ingredient. So the function is to decrease the amount of acid in the human stomach. So actually it is called proton pump inhibitor, which is the enzyme that lingers in people's stomachs and makes the acid to digest food. So it works by preventing the proton pump properly, which can affect the reduction of acid that the stomach makes. And then the sodium hydrogen carbonate, which is the excipient. So sodium hydrogen carbonate used as antacid to neutralize the caustic acid that cause heartburn, indigestion, and excessive gas. And then potassium hydrogen carbonate. So the function is to neutralize the excess acid in the stomach. And then sodium alginate. So the function is to decrease the acidity of refluxate and protect the esophageal mucosa by forming physical barrier on top of stomach surface in the form of neutral floating gel. And then mannitol. So mannitol act as a sweetening agent to mask the bitter taste. So actually it is not going to increase the level of blood. So it is good for diabetes patient. And then sucralose. So it is interact with chemosensor that play a role in sweet taste sensation and hormone secretion. And next is xanthan gum. So the function is to thicken and stabilize the ingredients. So as it is non-toxic, it is compatible with most other excipients and have good stability. Next is natural vanilla flavoring containing maltodextrin, or we call it as mist. So the function, so actually it is an excipient. So the function is to improve texture, flavor, and shelf life of the suspension. So actually it has no nutritional value, but it is easy to digest carbohydrate and can provide energy rapidly. Next is natural mint flavoring containing acacia gum. So the function, it acts as natural emulsifier, stabilizer, texturizer, and source of fiber. And then titanium dioxide, which is to ensure the homogeneity of appearance from batch to batch, fostering patient confidence. And then sodium benzoate. So the function is to inhibit the growth of bacteria, yeast, and mold. And then next is sodium methyl parahydroxybenzoate. So the function is used as preservative in the suspension. So we move to the packaging. So the first is amber plastic bottle. So the function is to protect against light damage, blue lights, block the UV lights that can cause the negative effect of the product. And then the propylene closure cap. So the function is to protect the content from spilling and enhance the quality of the packaging design. So actually these propylene caps have a very good impact strength, durability, cost effectiveness, thermal resistance, and pliability. And lastly is aluminum foil pouch. So the function is to keep the product from extreme temperature and moisture.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Aisha Aina binti Muhammad Fuzi with METI ID TJ21030. So today I will explain about hazard identification, accidental release measure, and handle and storage of omeprazole suspension for gastric. So let's start with looking at the hazard identification. There are three listed hazard that I put here. So the first is skin, eye, digestive, and respiratory irritation. Most of the API and excipient can cause the irritation as from the dust, or maybe the have a toxicity of the material. So the user need to minimize exposure to substance or as a preventive measure and identify symptoms of irritation such as for the skin is redness, itching and rash, eyes is redness, tearing and pain, digestive as nausea, vomiting and abdominal pain, and lastly is respiratory, coughing or short of breath. So when the person realize the symptoms, so they can take measure to minimize their exposure to the material. Next is cloud dust formation. Most of the API and the excipient are in powder or granular form. So powder and granular form are prone to form dust cloud. This dust cloud can pose acute or chronic health risk upon exposure, such as for the acute is irritation, while for the chronic is maybe lung damage, and also, some dust cloud is also flammable and explosive that can make the fire hazard to the workplace. Next is allergic reaction. Most excipients such as natural vanilla flavoring containing mist can cause allergic reaction to person that have allergic to corn, and also gum arabic and sodium benzoate and sodium methyl parahydrobenzoate also can cause allergic reaction to the person. So the user need to identify chemical that contain allergen and specify the exposure limit so they will not expose for too long or expose to the dangerous material that can cause allergy to them. So they also need to identify symptoms such as skin rash, itching, redness, swelling, and respiratory distress if they exposed to it. Move on to the accidental risk measure that can we look in the safety data sheet. So this is what we need to do when we are exposed to the risk. So firstly, we need to isolate the affected area to prevent further spread. So all people that were there need to be evacuated. Second is we need to use the proper protective equipment such as glove, dust respirator, lab coat and safety glass to avoid our skin and eyes from contact with the spill. Next is the cleaning method. So, firstly, we need to transfer the spill substance into a disposal container using proper instruments such as vacuum with HEPA filter, and we need to tightly close the container. If necessary, the spill will be wet beforehand, and we use the absorbent materials such as sand, clay, or any non-reactive material to avoid dusting. We also need to apply water to the affected area to complete the cleaning process and clear any slippery floor area that will cause an accident. Apart from that, we also need to eliminate any igniting source to avoid fire hazard, and also use spark-proof and explosion-proof equipment. Uh, Next, for the fourth step is we need to ensure there is enough ventilation to release any remaining dust or vapor to avoid dust accumulated. And lastly, um, after handling the material and spillage, we need to wash our hand and change the contaminated clothing before leaving the workplace. Lastly, we will look at the storage and handling for the API and excipient of the omeprazole suspension for gastric. So for the storage, the material need to store in a cool, dry place and well ventilated area. And also the container that we put the material is need to firmly shut. So as the example, omeprazole are stored in a cool place between 2 Celsius and 8 Celsius. Move on to the next point. The material also need to stay clear from source of ignition or heat because it may cause fire hazard. And also we need to avoid incompatible substances such as acid, alkali and oxidizing agent are put near to the material because it may be reacted and cause dangerous hazard. Move on to the handling process. The important one, we need to put on personal protective equipment during handling, so we will not have a contact direct with the material. And also we need to keep away the process from heat and source of ignition because when we produce medicine, it may form dust. So the dust may be ignited if it near to the ignition source. And also we need to avoid ingesting or inhaling dust by wearing mask, so it will not directly enter our body. And next is after done all the experiment, we need to remove contaminated clothing right away and wash it before we use the cloth. And lastly, we need to clean our hand and any exposed skin before leaving the workplace.
Next is the CMA and the CQA of omeprazole suspension. So the raw material chosen is omeprazole. So the critical material attributes of omeprazole is first is purity. So make sure that the product meets the regulation standard by control the impurities in the omeprazole. Second is particle size. The particle size of the drug can affect its dissolution rate, which can impact its bioavailability. Next is polymorphism. So this drug can exist in different crystal form and it can affect the drug stability and solubility. And the last one for CMA is moisture content. So omeprazole is sensitive to heat, humidity, lights, and organic solvent. Controlling moisture content of it is crucial as it is related to stability and product performance. We move to the critical quality attributes. So the first is dissolution rate. So the rate of omeprazole dissolved in specific medium determine its bioavailability and therapeutic effects. Next is the assay content. So the consistency of the product from batch to batch are needed to endure its meet with the regulation standard. And then stability. So omeprazole needs to be stable under various storage conditions to increase its shelf life. And the last one is uniformity. So it is to provide a predictable and consistent dose to patient as they rely on receiving the intended amount of active pharmaceutical ingredient to achieve the desired therapeutic effects.
Hi, I'm Sumati Nathalingam. My metric ID is TJ21072. So I'll be presenting about the hazards associated in manufacturing of omeprazole solution. So we have identified 5 types of hazards. So the first one is chemical hazards. Raw materials used in manufacturing like sodium hydrogen carbonate, potassium hydrogen carbonate, sodium alginate, titanium dioxide, and sodium benzoate may cause respiratory problems, skin and eye irritation. So to avoid this, a person should wear personal protective equipment (PPE) and should adhere to SOP when handling the material. So the second hazard is dust and particulate matter. Fine granules or other particulates may become airborne and can cause respiratory problems like shortness of breathing and inflammation of the respiratory tract. So to reduce exposure to dust, ventilation system should be installed, dust collection devices and respiratory protection like mask should be used. So the third hazard is solvent handling. Manufacturing of omeprazole solution involves use of organic solvent or substances like sodium hydrogen carbonate, sodium alginate, sodium benzoate, sodium methyl parahydroxybenzoate. So organic substances like these may pose problems or risk during manufacturing like flammability and toxicity of the substance. So, uh, adherence to protocols for processing, storing, and disposing of waste can prevent this situation. So the next hazard is biological hazard. Raw materials may be contaminated by airborne particles which may carry any microorganism during manufacturing and can cause health issues and affect the sterility of the end product. So aseptic methods should be used along with sterile surroundings and equipments to avoid this condition. The final hazard is fire and explosion hazard. Heat and dust produced during manufacturing can increase the chance of thermal reaction or combustion. So this may lead to fire and explosion accident. So sufficient cooling mechanism, heat dissipating equipment and dust management equipment like dust collectors are necessary for the prevention of fire and explosion risk. So these are the hazards that associated in manufacturing of omeprazole solution. So that's all from me. I'll pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi. My name is Saifullah bin Abdul Aziz and my metric number is TJ21011. So today I will continue the presentation about waste management plan for the manufacturing site. There are two methods. The first one is incineration. Incineration is the process of burning hazardous material at temperature high enough to destroy contaminants. Incineration is conducted in an incinerator, which is a type of furnace designed for burning hazardous materials in a combustion chamber. According to the environmental assessment of omeprazole magnesium by the Food and Drug Administration Center of Drug Evaluation and Research, one of the disposal methods of omeprazole waste is by incineration, even though omeprazole itself are likely to degrade abiotically. Incineration can greatly diminish any waste from raw material, API, excipients, and packaging materials. The second plan is by using bio-based adsorbents doped with silicon and magnesium. It is a biomass wood waste, specifically a spruce bark was employed to fabricate a composite doped with silicon and magnesium and applied to absorb an emerging contaminant, which is for this case is omeprazole, from aqueous solution as well as synthetic effluents loaded with several emerging contaminants. Adsorption is a great option compared to other methods of treating effluents loaded with ECs, also known as emerging contaminants, like oxidation procedure, biological treatment, filtration, and so on. Because of its high efficiency removal, low initial implementation and operational costs, easy operation, and controllable residue generation. Bio-based adsorbent doped with silicon and magnesium was spontaneous and favorable in terms of absorbing omeprazole and has studied that the removal of omeprazole is up to 65%. So that's why we plan for our waste management in omeprazole manufacturing site is incineration and bio-based adsorbent doped with silicon magnesium. So that's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter.
Assalamualaikum and good day to doctor. My name is Afra and my ID number is TJ1018. Now, let us move on to the challenges of the manufacturing plant for omeprazole suspension associated with process scalability, supply chain disruption, and regulatory hurdles. Firstly, formulation consistency. It can be difficult to establish a consistent formulation with the same quality, efficacy, and therapeutic impact when scaling up from the lab to industrial scale. Second, equipment modification and adaptation. They can be demanding during the transition and we need to recalibrate when the equipment used is different. Third, logistic and distribution. The channels should be smooth because delays could affect the receiving materials and delivering finished product to the market. Next, global supply chain disruption. Experiencing issues from them or us like pandemics or natural catastrophes might cause supply chain delays. Lastly, regulations that are modified and adjusted during the manufacturing, especially the guidelines, could affect the whole process. To address these issues, there are a number of risk mitigation strategies that we might implement accordingly. First, use the process analytical technology (PAT) tools to monitor important quality attributes in real time. Second, when working with the machinery and equipment, we must utilize caution and make sure the calibration is precise and correct. Next, the distributor should comply with the GDP to guarantee the raw materials purity and safety. After that, regular risk assessments should be held to determine any potential disruptions and impediments. Last but not least, stay informed about any specific regulations and guidelines to pertain to the production. That's all from us. Thank you.